There we go. Alright, so like I said before, this is another match of the LADX 100% no wrong work, no out of bound tournament. This is our first game in the losers bracket, so the winner of this will be facing off against Node, I believe, who lost his match in the winners. So essentially, in this category, as befitting the name, we have to go around and get a whole bunch of stuff. So we need to get all the instruments, of course, because that's required to beat the game. And we also need to get all upgrades, all photographs, and so on. Things we will be skipping, you don't need to get, say, the potions, you don't need to get all the compasses or maps. So it's kind of standard, though people will argue over what we need or not. We'll leave that to the Discord. Anyway, both runners here doing a trick called Early Sword, where you can either bounce off of the spiny or there's another setup you can do, and essentially you grab the sword a little early. Now they're doing a trick called Rupee Duping, where you can grab a rupee and also you can grab a rupee twice. And the reason we're doing this is because we need 10 rupees to buy various things. Both of them getting kind of similar RNG on the beach. Not great. So now they're going to be looking for rupees in here. Oh, looks like Spiraster getting much better luck than Xander. So now the Spiraster has... oh, Xander. So now that Spiraster has his 10 rupees, he's going into the shop, he's stealing the shovel, and then dying horribly. After this, he will be fake buying bombs. You can actually save and quit before you actually pay for the bombs, and you'll get the bombs without spending the 10 rupees. And then we'll be stealing the bow, which is an extremely useful item. We'll be using this to kill most of the mini-bosses in the games. So now Spiraster is heading down here to get the magic powder, which doesn't really have that many uses, but we need to get it. Its first use will be in Dungeon 2, but it's really only a handful of spots where it's useful. So now that we have that, we're going to head over to the doghouse and get our second seashell. So we'll be collecting 20 seashells in the game. There are 26 in the overworld, but you only need 20 to get the level 2 sword, which is the more important thing. So it's an interesting routing choice of which seashells should we get and in what order. So Spiraster did a trick there that we will see a more useful case of in a moment, called bomb triggers. So how bomb triggers work is essentially you place 2 bombs within about 4 frames of each other. And there's a whole bunch of different techniques of just mashing, or you can often buffer it. Sometimes you have to kill certain enemies on screen to make it work. But essentially what it does is it allows certain cutscenes to play. So for instance, in that case, you can skip past the owl coming in animation, but more importantly, you can get Terran to become a human again without having to pull up the magic powder. So we'll be seeing a lot of bomb triggers throughout the run, which will skip tons of time. Alright, so Spiraster here in D1. In D1 we're going to be picking up the most useful of items, the feather, which will severely break this game more than it already is. Aww, Such a love in the chat. I haven't had to hold a commentary by my own in an official race, so. Yeah, so Xander not too far behind. That Rupee RNG kind of screwed him over in the beginning, but there are many moments to catch up. Alright, so Spiraster here, doing a little damage buffer there so he doesn't have to wait for the, I don't even know what they're called, the spiky things to move out of the way. Okay, so now that we have the feather, we can do one of the most useful tricks in the game, which you will be seeing a ton, called super jumping. So essentially how it works is if you clip into a wall and use an item such as the bow or the sword or magic rod, the game will behave like you just jumped off of a ledge, and so you can jump a lot further than you're supposed to and jump over obstacles you're not supposed to. We'll mostly be seeing super jumps in dungeons, which make some of the dungeons, like D8 for example, really fast. Alright, so here's Moldorm. Wow, Spears are having a great Moldorm fight there. Moldorm can be very annoying because, like his A Link to the Past counterpart, if you fall into, if he knocks you into that pit, then you have to start his battle all over again. But thankfully, Spears are not having too much of a trouble. Also on Xander's side, you see him using his bow to take down that mini-boss in 2 arrow hits. And that will be a recurring theme throughout this run. Because the bow was so expensive, I don't think the developers really realized how quick you can kill most enemies using them. So our next thing here is that we're going to go pick up a heart piece and also pick up our dear friend Bow Wow. Bow Wow is the most amazing companion of all time. I'm sorry, Marin, but Bow Wow wins. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing too much of him in this category, but in the main any percent category, he is our constant companion. Oh, one little trick that both runners did is with those kids that Xander just talked to. If you mash the B button, they'll actually skip a lot of their text in the Japanese version. I don't think that glitch appears in any other version, but who knows? Right, so before we can pick up Bow Wow, we have to come over here and get a photograph from the mouse. We will be taking a whole bunch of pictures around the island. We actually got one photo from stealing from the shop. Thankfully, we don't have to talk to the rat before doing that. We just automatically get that photo. Alright, so Moblin Cave. These moblins kind of move around however they feel, so 3 in 1, that's pretty good. Sometimes you can get all 4 of them at once. And with this mini-boss, one of the few mini-bosses you don't actually use arrows on. But the 2 cycle for that boss is pretty easy if you can get him trapped in the corners. I guess I didn't see what Xander was doing. I was looking at Spiraster's screen. Okay, wow. That was a very fast eat by Bow Wow. So Bow Wow's most important feature is the fact that he eats a whole bunch of things. And we need him to eat the flowers that are in front of D2 in order to get in, but he eats on his own time, so Spiraster getting that quick eat was very, very nice. So the item we'll be picking up on Spiraster, or in D2, is the bracelet, which is the second most important item in the game. It's very convenient that they give you these two items right at the beginning. But first, really easy mini boss. Hello, Hinox. Goodbye, Hinox. But the bracelet will allow us to lift up various objects like pots and rocks and so on, and really opens up the world. So pretty much once you get the feather and the bracelet, almost all of the world is open up to you. Oh, Xander not getting very good Bow Wow eat. So in this room on Spiraster's side, you have to kill these 3 enemies in a certain order. Oh no, he killed him in the wrong order, so he has to leave and come back. So you have to kill the bunny first, and then the Keese, and then the Stalfos. Sometimes the Stalfos can just get in the way. And so in this room here, you're supposed to lift that pot to make the platform go down, but for some reason if you hold a bomb above your head, I guess that's heavy enough. Who knew? So this is Genie. He loves talking. This boss fight can actually be very long and annoying, but thankfully, there is a quick kill for it. So essentially, you pick up the pot, you clip into the wall, which automatically breaks the pot when you toss it, and then with a bomb and a bomb arrow, he goes down very quickly. If you don't do it in this method, then you have to throw the pot against the wall, I think 3 times, which is just very long and annoying. But for some reason, clipping into the wall makes the pot break immediately. The reason this game is well programmed, that's the reason. Alright, so now that D2 was beaten, Spiraster is going to do something that seems a little weird. He's just going to head off in this direction. But the reason he's doing that is there's a warp point over here. And how you get the warp points to work is that you have to look at them. And so we'll be using this warp point a whole bunch throughout the run, but it's just the most convenient to see it here. So now that we've seen our warp point, we can head down here, get this piece of heart, and then go talk to the Mad Bat. So this guy here, he will upgrade 3 of your items. He'll upgrade your bombs, your arrows, and your magic powder. Annoyingly, each time you talk to him, he'll have 2 options to upgrade, like 2 different of those items. And his first choice is always the magic powder, which is, as I mentioned earlier, one of the least important items in the game. So you have to make sure to select the second choice. So here we are upgrading our bombs, then when we see him for the second time, we'll be upgrading arrows, and then the third time we will be upgrading the magic powder, because we gotta. we also need to pick up more secret seashells. And there's one, for some reason, in a graveyard. I don't know why. I choose to think that, like somebody had a pet snail or hermit crab or something, and that was his grave. Link is just a terrible person digging up the grave of a beloved friend. So that structure that Spiraster just blew up, you have to blow it up with a bomb. For me, Bow Wow always is in front of me when I try to hit it down. It's really aggravating, and you waste a bomb arrow. So Spiraster here picking up the Richard picture. We'll be seeing Richard one more time briefly, but we skip the main cutscene that he's a part of. Or, not cutscene, side quest. But it's nice to see him. Now that picture is one of the many pictures in this game which you do need to pick up at a certain time, otherwise you don't get it. So Spiraster here, heading into the mansion. The main purpose of this mansion is when you get 20 seashells, you get the level 2 sword from here. But you can also go when you have exactly 5 seashells and exactly 10 seashells, and you'll get an extra one for free. Spiraster doing a trick here called Villa Skip, which in this category doesn't really skip the villa, but it skips the cutscene. Why do I keep on saying cutscene? Skips the side quest of having to go into the castle and pick up a whole bunch of leaves to give to Richard to let you in here to get the key to Dungeon 3. But we can just sneak in there using Villa Skip, which essentially is... So what happens is that you jump at the bottom of the pit, and on a certain frame, if you transition down, then it will push you all the way down. So if these runners are crazy and they go for early booster skip, then you'll be seeing that again. And another trick here, it's called Jesus jumping. There's a handful of frames that if you jump on the water and then transition when Link has little splashes, then you're free to transition, and then you can buffer a jump from the save and quit menu. You don't have to be transitioning though, you can actually buffer a jump at other points, which we'll be seeing later. Xander having a nice Villa Skip. So you might notice here that Spiraster is killing a lot of enemies, and that is because of a drop that occurs after killing a certain number of enemies called the Piece of Power. So the nice thing about the Piece of Power, it gets you extra damage, and it increases your movement speed. In the main any percent category, we get it a whole bunch, but since the counter resets when you save and quit, you don't see it as much in this category because we save and quit a lot. So this is the one time we will see it. And Spiraster just performing Dong Skip. Essentially, it's just a super jump, like before, but you can use your sword to hit off of the Dodongo and change the direction. Yeah, unfortunately, Bow Wow cannot follow you into dungeons. That would be very nice, though, if you could make him eat the bosses instead of fighting against them. Spiraster having some trouble doing his second Dodongo skip. Lord Zeno, you do want to get ice cream, and then you want to go and give me ice cream because I would love some ice cream. I just ran out 2 days ago, and I haven't gotten more yet. Ice cream is great. So Spiraster heading to the boss of Dungeon 3. It's not too difficult, especially if you have a piece of power. His main thing is that when he comes and slams down on the ground, he can stun you. So you have to make sure you're up in the air either with the feather or with the boots. I guess I did not talk about the boots. The boots were the item of this dungeon. They let us go fast and jump far. We all love the boots. That's true, Lord Zeno, but there are going to be 2 LADX races, one right after another, so you'll probably be able to see both. Maybe you should just get ice cream after watching. So once we exit D3 here, we're going to be running around and getting a whole bunch of random seashells, heart pieces, and photos. So here's one heart piece that probably gave some kids back in the day some trouble. Spiraster having some menuing difficulty there. So now we're going to get one of the training quest items. To get through this game casually, you actually needed to do the trading quest up to getting the stick, which you get, which you need to get because you have to get into the castle for the side quest to get the the Dungeon 3 key. However, the game assumes, like, oh, you must have had this if you beat Dungeon 3, so it just sort of gives it to you. And we'll need that honeycomb because we'll trade it for a pineapple, which allows Marin to appear on the beach, and we need Marin around because Link needs some dates. So Spiraster went back into the mansion to get his second seashell prize. So now he has 11 seashells, and under this rock, his 12th. So there was a relatively recent route change to this category that happened right at the beginning of the tournament. So we do a lot more overworld stuff near the beginning, but towards the end it's pretty much dungeon, 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 dungeon. Alright, Spiraster going in here getting a pineapple. I don't know how or where this bear got a pineapple from. Why is this the only pineapple in existence? So the next item we're going to pick up is the ocarina. We'll be getting 3 songs on the ocarina, but really only using one of them throughout the run. So the 3 songs are Best Song, or Marin Song, Pretty Good Song but Not Quite Best Song, which is Mambo's Mambo, and Worst Song, which shall not be discussed. And we'll be seeing all 3 of them, or we will be getting all 3 of them, but only be using Mambo's Mambo. So will this be the day that Spiraster gets the Fish the Pond world record? It may be. The real reason of coming to this pond is because this big fish the Spiraster is getting has a heart piece in it. One nice thing is that we actually route it out so that you get your 4th heart piece in there, so that it fills up the meter and you don't get the cutscene of, oh, you filled it up. And here is our best photo. Unfortunately, this is the reason why we have to leave Bow Wow behind, but just look at this photo. I mean, look at this, isn't that adorable? Good job, Bow Wow. Best dog. Yeah, if you want to see more of Bow Wow, look at some any% no squoob runs, because we take Bow Wow around the entire island. Xander trying his hand at some fishing. There we go. So now Spiraster is going to head to the beach and talk to Marin, who is now there on the beach because we got the pineapple. Come on, Spiraster. There we go. Spiraster pushing on a tree. I'm not sure what that is supposed to symbolize, but oh look! Seagulls. They're RNG. I feel like as a commentator now, you are contractually obligated to talk about the seagull RNG. So now that we have our lovely Marin, time to go on a date that essentially is take 3 photographs and that's it. Not the best date in the world, but at least you get to see some nice scenery, and you have memories of the occasion. So the first photo we got was from the well. Second one is on this cliff. Xander getting the nut touch. Very nice, very nice. Link's face in this photo, I don't know, it just looks odd. It honestly looks like his face is a frog or something. I don't understand it. So those in the chat, who had better seagull RNG? Xander or Spiraster? You know, everybody talks about seagull RNG though, but what is good seagull RNG? Do you want them to clump up or do you want them to be separated? I'm asking the real questions here. That's what's most important. So now that our date is pretty much completed, we're going to head back to Animal Village and use another bomb trigger to to activate the walrus cutscene without actually talking to the walrus, because we're lazy and who wants to go all the way to that side of the screen? I don't. In the any% no squib category, you actually have to do this because we don't get Marin in that category. And it's a lot more annoying because you have to leave the screen on a certain frame, otherwise the game soft locks. But here, we just do it because it saves a couple seconds or something. that bunny is an evil bunny because he stays on the screen forever if he's soft locked. So now Spiraster is going to do another use of the bomb triggers, which is making hearts appear mysteriously in your hand. Maybe, Spiraster? Menus? There we go. A heart. A heart hat. Yes, I know it saves time from Marin having to walk across the screen. But it's still kind of funny that we do that instead of just talking to the walrus. Here's a pit of nothing. See, this pit on the Spiraster screen is very nice because you give it an offering of 2 arrows and it gives you a key. Amazing. So there's one more seashell we have to pick up around this area on Spiraster's side. Kind of down here at this cliff of nothing else is here. So let's just put a seashell here, why not? But after we get that, we're just going to go back to our warp and open up the 4th dungeon of the game. But first, an annoying owl. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, I guess before we get the Dungeon 4, we have Best Song. Beautiful. So nice. Yes, you must steal for 100%, not only because it gets you some items that you don't have to rupee farm for, but you do get a photograph for stealing from the shop, and we need all the photographs. Oh, Vlak. Yeah, so one thing you have to do with that cutscene is once it's over, you have to say yes to Marin, and if you don't, you have to listen to the entire cutscene again. But it's such a good song, I mean, who wouldn't want to do it? So now I must explain the most important of tricks. I am, of course, referring to obstacle skip. Truly, there is no greater trick. Super jumps? No. Wooster skip? No. Early wooster skip? Get out of here. Best trick is this one. No! Come on! There we go. Spiraster, you worried me there for a second that you weren't going to do obstacle skip, but you got it. I'm very proud. Essentially, obstacle skip saves... I don't even know if it's a full second, but it looks cool, and if you don't get it, you're banned. So it looks like Spiraster is not going for early booster skip because he is a good person. Though maybe I shouldn't say that because going for early booster skip is a thing now. But I don't like it. Butt sword! Rest in peace. Even though we'll be seeing you later, but rest in peace, Rat. Your photographs were so good. Alright, so now that we've done all that crazy stuff up there, now we can enter D4. Xander, you didn't get obstacle skip. I am disappointed. Tisk tisk. So Dungeon 4 is a relatively short dungeon. Mainly due to the fact that, oh no, Spiraster. Mainly due to the fact that one room we just saw, you can get around it very easily by using the boots and feather, because I think the game developers didn't realize that it's pretty easy to jump further than they intended. We'll be seeing another one of those jumps in a little bit. Now we do this useless puzzle. Kill some red blobby things, and we get our flippers. So hooray, we don't have to do a million Jesus jumps anymore. Oh, is Xander doing it? Is he going for early booster skip? You can do it. I believe in you. So we'll be seeing an alternate version of booster skip on Spiraster's side. But, essentially here, you're trying to get stuck in the wall on a particular pixel, and then that will allow you to jump. No! Xander, no! Oh, that was so close, too! And the peach comes back out. Oh no, that was so sad. So Spiraster beat Dungeon 4 while we weren't looking. There we go. Very nice, Xander. So, Xander entering Dungeon 4 right as Spiraster leaves it. And now here's what some people might incorrectly assume is the best song, but it is not the best song, though it is a pretty good song. Oh. Very nice. Will we get any O's in chat? That song, Marin's song. Well, of course. There we go. I see some O's down there. So Spiraster getting that one heart piece in that cave, which isn't the most annoying heart piece to find, but it is kind of weird. It's one of those heart pieces that's like, okay, nothing is here, so there probably is something here. Ooh, Xander doing... Xander was setting up for the fancier of the P-hat jumps, where you don't have to do these menus, so it saves a little bit of time, but that is also a very nice method. Yeah, and that jump that you just saw there, and Xander said that skips having to go through this big old 2D section, but you can just make that simple jump and get there. Developers underestimated the power of the jumps. So Spiraster skipping some of the trading sequence by using more bomb triggers. They're so useful. Yes, and the ghost. So the ghost appears after Dungeon 4. in the main any percent category, we actually skip the ghost, because for some reason, if you get the level 2 bracelet, he doesn't appear, so we do Dungeon 6 before Dungeon 4. But in this category, we need him because we need to get a photograph that has him in it. And speaking of photographs, here's another photograph. The photographer's corpse is washed up. Now it's getting pulled out of the water. That's just very gruesome. And not only does Link kill the rat, he somehow kills the fisherman and then he comes back to life. It's bizarre. Spiraster doing a trick here called Zora bumping, where you can buffer in this jump and then use the projectile to bounce off of it and do a super jump. There's also another method you can do, which is solely with buffers that's completely consistent, but this way is a lot faster. So the reason for doing that sword bump was to get this magnifying lens, and the reason we get the magnifying lens is because we want to pick up the boomerang pretty early. Normally, you get across that gap with the hookshot after Dungeon 5, but if we get the boomerang early, it makes getting that hookshot a lot easier. Well, not a lot easier. I should say a lot quicker. It makes it more annoying. But gotta go fast, I assume. I guess. So here's the ghost's house. Let's see, one room, bed, a lot of cracks everywhere, full of dust. This is gonna be what my apartment's gonna be like, that I'm gonna move into in a couple days. Oh, graduate school living. So we can get the boomerang by going down here to this random cave that, if you didn't have the magnifying lens, would just be empty, but if you have the magnifying lens, you can talk to this guy and he will exchange whatever's on your B button for that item. So we give him the shovel, because it's not super useful at this point. We could probably pick up a few more seashells with it, but they're kind of out of the way. Xander. There we go. Very nice. Getting his Zora bump too. So Spiraster, after picking up these 2 seashells and jumping over this pit, is going to get his next item upgrade from the bat. This time it will be arrows, and it's actually very convenient that we're getting them now, because you probably only have 1 or maybe 0 arrows left at this point. And getting this arrow upgrade refills your arrows. So it's very nice. Once again, you have to pick the second option, otherwise you get your magic powder upgraded instead. And this, I guess, is the first case where we actually use an ocarina song. So Mambo's Mambo warps you to this random pond here for some reason. I remember when I played LADX as a kid, I didn't understand why it would warp you there, but it does. So a ghosty friend lay to rest at last. Except we're going to be bugging him in a second anyway for a photograph. And speaking of ghosts, here's the photographer. Are they doomed to walk this earth taking photographs eternally? Or at least, like, for another 30 minutes? Maybe one of the runners will be very nice and show us this Saga's ghost. Oh no! Spiraster jumped into the staircase before getting the heart piece. But all you have to do is move that grave out of the way and you can get right back in. So with those annoying gravestones pushed out of the way, here's Color Dungeon, where we will experience the power of color. And by the power of color, I mean this room has to do with color, and one other room has to do with color, and that's about it. They did the best they could. One of the nice things about this color dungeon is this room full of rupees. Because worst song is worst song, we actually have to get 300 rupees, so we'll be visiting that room again. It looks like on Xander's side that he's like falling into the little well thing of the Mad Bat. So up here we're going to see another rare case where the magic powder is actually useful. I know, shocking. But here's this blob. Goodbye, blob. See, this fight is a lot cooler if you have the mushroom, which we don't get in this run. But it's a lot funnier to do this boss, because all you have to do is you hold the mushroom above your head and then the blob dies. I guess he's allergic to mushrooms? So Spiraster did a hard reset there because, once again, LADX is very well programmed, and that's the only way for these rupees to reappear. Oh no, he has 299 rupees! How will he afford Frog Song now? I do have to say that picture with the ghost is probably my second favorite picture, right behind the Bow Wow picture. Oh no, Xander. You can do it. Oh, there we go. I was confused there what Spiraster was doing, but he's picking up some rupees. So this is the bingo room, one of the other of the two rooms that actually uses color at all. Essentially, you just have to get these things in their holes. And they can be a little tricky. You can hit them around with the sword. Or the boomerang. So now we will see the incredibly difficult final boss of this dungeon. Look how difficult that was. I am surprised Spiraster managed to survive. Alright, so now we will see what Spiraster's fashion statement is today, blue or red. And he will get the blue tunic. So here's the thing with red versus blue tunics here. So it used to be that red tunic was faster, because red tunic, it increases your damage and allows you to pick up things ever so slightly faster. Whereas blue tunic, all it does is increase your defense. So in earlier routes, Red Tunic was definitely faster because that increased damage was very nice. However, now, since we get the level 2 sword a lot earlier than we did before, the advantage goes down. It's actually about less than a second now, and that's only if you get one fight exactly right. The Red Tunic can actually harm you because it does have knockback, which does make one boss in the Dungeon 5 boss a lot more annoying. So, a lot of people go for blue, but some people, they gotta stand by their fashion statements and they go with red. And some people think you have to go with red and save that 0.68 seconds or something. Ooh, Xander having a very nice bingo room. Alright. I saved us. No worse song. So what's going on over at Spiraster's side is he's picking up worse song. And the Game Boy really wants to have this room be dim, but it can't do that, so it flickers between darkness and light really quickly, and depending on people's streams, it can show up as weird things. Alright, let's see, what will Xander get? Will he get blue or will he get red? He's kind of covering it up. Yeah, looks like he got blue too. So, today the runners have spoken. Blue Tunic is evidently best Tunic, at least today. So now Spiraster is getting probably the hardest to find heart piece of the game. It's hidden down here next to the moat. This is one of those you better have had Nintendo Power or the strategy guide for this game to find this. Look at it hiding away down there. I mean, who threw that heart piece down there in the first place? Did Richard break somebody's heart and then like threw it away in pieces into his moat? That's just sad. So now Spiraster, with a nice roll there, is picking up the last photograph of the game. And there's the mouse. The ghost of the mouse, because it's all in white now. It's all ghosty. So now Spiraster is going to head over to this area, which is much more annoying in Hundo, because you don't have our dear and faithful friend Bow Wow. This is Armos Maze, and these Armos Knights are really annoying because they take up a bunch of health. But thankfully now that we get Blue Tunic, or not everybody, but a lot of people get Blue Tunic, it's not as bad, but still. Oh my goodness, someone is calling me. Sorry if you can hear that. Alright, so Spiraster here is defeating this Armos Knight with nice beat strats there. There are many ways to defeat that boss. You can use speed strats, you can use arrows. Or, not arrows, you can use your feather and your sword. You can do some fancy things with the shovel. Just hold on 1 second. And I'm back. So now Spiraster is heading into Dungeon 6, which is hidden below there. Kind of weird. I forget if the owl says anything in particular about that. Like, you have to go back into this area to get into Dungeon 6, because otherwise it seems weird to have to go there, but whatever. Xander heading to pick up his key for Dungeon 6. I really want to know what that mysterious white flashing blobby thing is. What's its story? Where did it come from? And here is the second most useless upgrade in the game. It is the level 2 bracelet. It essentially allows you to pick up the sort of elephant-shaped things. But that's about it. We use it a grand total of once in this run, but there's actually an upgrade that we will get, which we will use a grand total of 0 times. So, there you go. The one use. Spiraster now going through what we call the parkour section. Lots of little super jumps and then a big one to get up here. And to open this weird chest that for some reason you have to throw a pot at it and it opens. To be fair, the owl statue above tells you that, but it just is a random thing that you have to do there. And now Spiraster will be heading to the most difficult part of the run, the horse heads. So I want to see some guesses in chat. How many horse heads will it take? 1, 2, 3. 3 horse heads. That's pretty good. Those horse heads, they have a 50-50 chance of being up or down, and you need both of them to be up. So I guess Giant Dragon Heart 9 wins. You win the grand prize of seeing Spiraster defeat this boss. It's a very nice prize. You can actually hit Facade 3 times before he speaks to you, because his hitbox is still there. But not quite as good as Seasons, where you can kill him before him showing up. The triangle. Some people like triangle the best, but what about the bomb triangle? Look at that lovely music the bomb is making. Yes, so it's a little hard to tell Duke how far behind he is. It looks like he's behind, but he actually did something that Spiraster hasn't done yet. So we'll have to see in a little bit what the standings really are. But before we can do that thing, we gotta get some laser swords. So hopefully Spiraster has all of his seashells. And he has all his seashells. So overly dramatic for picking up a sword, but I guess that's kind of the Legend of Zelda staple, right? No matter what you do, picking up a sword must be overly dramatic. So Spiraster is going to head right into Dungeon 5 here, and right off the bat, there's going to be a really annoying trick called early hookshot, which was the reason we had to pick up this boomerang pretty early. So the idea behind the trick is that in certain rooms you pick up items like keys, and the game has a note of, okay, in this room if I pick up something it's going to be the key, and so on and so forth. So in the room we're in right now you pick up a key, but in the room directly to the left you pick up the hookshot. So you can actually use the boomerang to take the key that is in this room, bring it to the other room, and the game's like, oh, you picked something up in this other room? It's probably the hookshot, and it just gives you the hookshot. And this saves having to go around the entire dungeon and defeat Master Stalfos 4 times. It's very nice. But this trick, even if you line up everything correctly, it's still only like a 50-50 shot if you get it or not. And yeah, it can just be really aggravating. Because you can do everything right, but still not get it. The worst thing you can do is picking up the key. If you do that, you pretty much have to hard reset. Oh my goodness, Spiraster not having a great time here. Come on, Spiraster, you can do it. No, I haven't been keeping count. Also, on a lighter note, here's Xander. On Xander's side, he's picking up the bomb and throwing it. Very nice. Come on, Spiraster. No! Spiraster! Come on, chat, help him out. There we go! Very nice, Spiraster. Hopefully, Xander won't have quite as bad hookshot. This was all because the chat believed. So we needed to pick up the key from that room too, so that we can get up here, see Master Stalfos once, and then ignore him. So now Spiraster is going to pick up the boss key, or the nightmare key as it's called in this game. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me say this, but in the main any percent category of this game, oh my goodness, Spiraster, no! You can get this treasure chest without using the hookshot by doing a fancy jump. But since in Hundo you get the hookshot by that point, you can just pick it up here. It's supposed to be really easy, you can just walk over and get it, but I guess not. And so it looks like Xander is just about to try his early hookshot. Will he have any better luck than Spiraster? Yes, he will! First try! Oh my goodness. That will save a bunch of time. for Xander. So Spiraster going into the final boss of this dungeon. I don't know why I keep on calling it the final boss. But this is my most hated of bosses. He's a lot more annoying when you have Red Tunic, because your sword slashes hit the boss out of the way. But here, there is a setup. There we go. Spiraster having a very clean fight. Yeah, so with the blue tunic and the green tunic, there is a setup which, if you do it correctly, is, I think, pretty much 100% guaranteed you're gonna get it, as long as you're quick enough. But I still hate that boss. That boss is awful. So bad. Alright, so now that we have beaten Dungeon 5, Spiraster is going to go up to Dungeon 7. But on the way, he will need to do a trick that Xander already did a form of, which is Early Booster. So Spiraster can't do Xander's method, because that requires the shovel, and we gave up the shovel earlier. So his method will be the more, I guess you can call it, traditional method, which will use the hook shot and the feather. Will Spiraster get his second obstacle skip? I guess he needs to get this heart piece first with another bomb trigger. But now, more importantly, will Spiraster get this trick? Come on, you can do it, you can do it! Yes! Very nice. 2 for 2. Ooh, Xander getting some gold. Always nice to see some gold. Alright, so Spiraster is going to head up in here. And essentially how this trick works is that there's a particular frame when you attract the hook shot where you can actually buffer an input, and we'll be using that to buffer a jump. It looks like... well, okay, so Spiraster is going to do the buffered method. So when he gets to a certain frame, you can use the jump. And I think he's got it. Yeah, very nice. There's a method you can do which doesn't have any buffers, and it's extremely cool, but also a lot less consistent, so. I do the buffered method myself, but then again, I am a noob. Well, you see, Lord Nav, it used to be that we didn't have bomb triggers. It was before my time, but bomb triggers were discovered. One of the veteran runners needs to help me out, like a few years ago? Like 3 years? Yeah, it's much more useful in envy percent, because you can skip a lot more that we have to do in this category, but bomb triggers are very useful. Will Xander get his obstacle skip? Good. He got it. He only got 1 of 2, but I guess that'll be enough. Yeah, so as you saw, Xander didn't even have to go up that that ladder or staircase or whatever that Spiraster had to, because he already had gotten the key. So now if you look at the 2 screens, this is how far they actually are apart. So now they have both done the same amount of things. So it looks like Spiraster is like, I don't know, a minute ahead or so? I was not paying attention to the exact second Spiraster went in. But one thing that Spiraster did is he picked up the level 2 shield, which is the most useless item in the game, because we skip its one intended use. I guess you need it for this boss, but it's really simple. I am a woman. Though it is, women with voice acting do speak for younger boys. So, I guess it makes sense in that case. 52 seconds different. So yeah, about a minute. So the reason that I think that Dungeon 7 is the best of the dungeons is all of these nice bomb triggers here. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to take that ball, that orb, whatever it is, and knock down all these pillars. But you can actually knock them all down using bomb triggers, and it saves a lot of time, and it looks really cool if you can do it the bufferless method. Oh no, you didn't offend me. That is like really reasonable question to ask. So Spiraster now headed up to Evil Eagle, which is my second least favorite boss. But there is actually a nice way you can kill him in Hundo. For some weird reason, this quick kill the Spiraster is about to do doesn't work at any percent because you have to have saved and quit at least once to have it work. No, I don't know why that's the case, other than the fact that LADX is weirdly programmed. But oh, Xander getting a very nice trick there. I think that was first try Goomba Surf. So Spiraster had to go around to get it, to get up to this area and do a P-hat jump, but Xander went straight for the Goomba Surf, which is more RNG, but very, very nice. Yeah, so Xander and Spiraster are actually pretty close at this point. I guess Spiraster's bad early hookshot kind of balanced out with Xander's not so great beginning. Xander, do you have time to trash talk? Gotta be playing your game. So here's Marin, trapped up here all alone, but we're going to ignore her, because we're terrible people, and do some zooming with some boomerangs if Spiraster can get the setup correctly. Come on, Spiraster, do the trick. It's so cool. Come on, Spiraster, you can do it! No. What will Xander do? Will he go for the zoom? It looks like he is too. Who will get the zoom first? Oh, Xander got it first! Xander has taken the lead by a few seconds! Oh my goodness. So now Xander's ahead. So we have a very close race now. This could come down to blue balls. Alright, so first we have, oh no, now Xander has fallen up behind because of a bad menu. But this is the last time we will be seeing this Mad Bat, because now we are going to upgrade our magic powder. like all this Xander love in the chat. Yeah, so I think Spiraster is pulling ahead a little bit just because of venues. And here is the one use of the level 2 shield that we don't actually use it for, because you can just skip by those flames by clipping into that wall. And this guy we can just skip. You're supposed to wake him up with Worst Song and then defeat him, but you can skip doing that with bomb triggers, and then he doesn't actually have a hitbox at the beginning, so you can just walk right through them. So Spears are setting up this trick here where if you get the right position, you can actually hookshot and kind of clip through this block. It's a little bit precise. There we go. And now here is Blano. We can't skip him because out of bounds rules. But Spears are having a very clean fight. Xander also having a great fight. Alright, so now that we have the magic rod, which is not the fire rod for some reason, it shoots magic. Magic fire, I guess. We're gonna head up here and do a version of Jesus jumping called lava swimming, where essentially you do a Jesus jump, but when you transition, you swing your sword, and for some reason, now you're swimming. Just taking a lovely lava bath. Clean his pores. So that is the last heart piece of the game, but of course we will be getting a full heart container when we beat Hothead, the boss of this area. But here, have a mini boss. This is Cue Ball. There was a version of him in D4, but we didn't see him because we didn't see him. And now in this room, we get rid of the darkness with our dear Roomba. Roombas are so good they can clear away nothing. Both runners doing a slightly different method. I don't know if there's a particularly fast one between them, or if they take the same amount of time, but it's fire and magic. But it is called the magic rod. Now we're doing one last Jesus jump here. So we can clip into this wall and then skip this underground section. And now here's Hothead. He's annoying and has a weird hitbox. Or not hitbox, like invincibility frames. Sometimes you can kill him right away, and sometimes it takes multiple cycles. I don't know. It looks like both runners getting second try. Or not second try, second cycle. And a Wang voice from Spiraster. Will Xander follow up with a Wang of his own? He will indeed. Alright. We are heading into the final boss with... what is that, 5 seconds different? So this is going to be very close. So now, maybe more like 7 or 8 seconds, but close. So what we have to do here, we have to get back to the Windfish egg and then use our musical bombs to not play the ocarina, because I guess it takes too long to get out the ocarina. But listen to this wonderful, wonderful best song. Oh man, I love that song. It is just such a nice song. So I'm gonna just explain some things rapid fire. So when we enter this egg, there's a maze here. Thankfully, the maze is the same every time unless you look at the book that tells you what the directions are. And once we get through this maze, we're going to do a tech skip, which is another bomb trigger, which will unfortunately get rid of the music. Let's see if Spiraster gets it. He gets it. Okay, so now he can set up for a quick kill on the blob. And looks like he got it. So now we have Aghanim here. So Aghanim will fire 2 good shots, and then after that it is 50-50 whether or not he'll give you a good shot or a blue ball. Unlike A Link to the Past, this can go on forever if it feels like it. So we'll just have to see what this RNG holds for us. So let's see. Looks like both runners get in their first blue ball. Xander getting his second. Xander giving us another peach butt. Alright, so... Poor Xander. So Spiraster messed up this quick kill here, but it goes down pretty quickly. Now he hits Ganon, who also goes down pretty quickly. There's another form here, but we don't care. Okay, so now for Deathel. So, essentially you just have to shoot him once in the eye with the boomerang, and then that's it. But, there we go. Sometimes he doesn't feel like opening up his eyes, sometimes he does. Alright, so Spiraster just needs to walk up this staircase. And that will be it. Alright, Spiraster is going to progress on with an official time of 1:23:47. Come on, Xander. The peach is because Xander trolls. Come on. There we go. Oh, I guess I need to click done. So it looks like Xander is finishing up with a 1:24:30. So very, very nice to both runners here. It was very close at the end. It was really just those blue balls. So we'll see if our runners won an interview or not. Yeah, so with... Oh, poor Spiraster. So with that, the lovely peach butt. Why, hello there, Xander. GG's. Or not?
Hello.
Oh, Spiraster's here, not Xander. GG on your race.
Thank you. Although, I'm not sure if GG is the way to put it.
Yeah, I saw you and Xander talking in the SR chat, going back and forth about how terrible things were.
To be honest, I think chatting with Xander is the only thing that kept me from forfeiting that race. That just felt terrible.
Yay, Xander!
Sorry, my mic wasn't plugged in. At last, it's over.
Hey Xander, SGQF.
I don't even know what that means, but sure.
Shit game, quit forever.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So we'll have to keep this interview pretty short because there is a race that's going to happen right after this.
Oh, right.
But Spiraster, that early hook shot.
Oh my god. Well, to put it shortly, the run was going really well. Then I threw it in D3, tilted from there, and had a pretty good early magnifying lens. And then, yeah, early hook shot just totally screwed me. I lost a minute there alone. And then I just kept tilting after that point. And I was really stubborn about getting that one zoomerang and lost 20 seconds to that too.
Nice.
And I just, it was just terrible. I mean, I'm glad I continued, but I feel bad to have won with a run like that.
You know, I remember in like D3, I was just doing my thing, you know, and Spiraster is like, "Hey, let's double suicide."
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, can we
that
just
was probably
talk
after my
about
D3,
Log
I
Cave?
can't remember.
Can we talk about Log Cave? Because I have no idea what happened there.
I didn't see what happened. It was when I was reading back the chat.
I was not paying attention, so I left on the other side. Thrown off by that, I went all the way back through, then was on my way to D2, and I realized I didn't get the heart piece. So then I had to go all the way back through it again. And that was
sad.
Fun. And I lost a minute to rupees, which is always fun. Other than that, I think I'm more of a winner than Spiraster here, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
it
you would
certainly
agree.
feels like that.
So, Spiraster, you're going to be facing off against Allos next.
Yeah, he's gonna be stiff competition. I have to say he's a pretty good runner, and you know, he's had his ups and downs in the tournament, so I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good.
You have to win.
He's gonna mop the floor with me.
But then you will be free.
And then I'll be free.
And you can join me.
Yeah, then me and Xander can just bounce through the meadows, jumping, arms in the air.
Yep.
Also, Xander, all of the chat appreciated your peach butt.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was the first thing I saw. Right after we started the race, Cyclone was in chat saying, "Xander, can you please remove your peach?" And I just burst out laughing. I couldn't help it.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean to push you guys out, but we do have our next race coming up right now, which is Green Tunic and Bamboo.
Oh, go watch it.
Go watch it.
Good.
Also good race. And I will be heading out, but Crunchy will be commentating, and he has the best commentator voice.
He
best
is our
commentator.
Hero.
I second
And you're our hero too for stepping in on this race as well. So thanks to both of you.
Alright, so that's it for me. Stay around for more LADX coming up right now.